Anger, Violence, and Mental Health at Work. Chapter 1. A Workplace Anger Guide. Anger, how to deal with it? Anger is drinking poison and hoping someone else dies. You hurt yourself more than you hurt others. Life's too short to be angry. Let the feelings flow to release them, then let them go. Make peace with your emotions. Forgive, forget, keep moving forward. Holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. Buddha. He who can keep silent in an argument even though he knows he's right has true power. When angry, count to 10 before you speak. When very angry, count to 100. Thomas Jefferson. If any man offend not in word, he is a perfect man. Even so, the tongue is a little member and boasts of great things. Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindles. James 3:2-5. When two people have a dispute, both are to blame. It will only stop when one has the humility to see that he too is partially guilty of provoking the fight. Everyone who is angry with his brother shall be liable to judgment, whoever insults his brother shall be liable to the council, and whoever says, "You fool," shall be liable to the hell of fire. Matthew 5:22-23. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Galatians 5:22-23. He who guards his lips guards his life, but he who speaks harshly will come to ruin. Proverbs 13:3. Pride only breeds quarrels, but wisdom is found in those who take advice. Proverbs 13:10. A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Proverbs 15:1. Pride goeth before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. Proverbs 16:18. Better a patient man than a warrior, a man who controls his temper. Proverbs 16:32. A man of knowledge uses words with restraint, and a man of understanding is even-tempered. Proverbs 17:27. A fool gives full vent to his anger, but a wise man keeps himself under control. Proverbs 29:11. An angry man stirs up dissension, and a hot-tempered man commits many sins. Proverbs 29:22. Reckless words pierce like a sword, but the tongue of the wise brings healing. Proverbs 12:18. In your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you are still angry, and do not give the devil a foothold. Ephesians 4:26-27. In the Bible, Ephesians 4:22-32 deals with anger. Even if you act out of anger and destroy somebody else's life, usually either the repercussions in the real world will destroy, or your own sense of decency will make you regret it at some point in time. If you're patient in one moment of anger, you'll escape 100 days of sorrow. Walk away from anger. Work it off. Anger is all about one thing: inner pain that the world is not the way you want it, loss of control in any situation, a feeling of powerlessness, so you react the only way you can, by taking it out on yourself, via taking it out on people or things around you. You don't need it. Stay cool. Know what the major emotions are, how you deal with them and express them: love, happiness, joy, hate, sorrow, sadness, guilt, shame, jealousy, fear, anger. Everything comes down to how you react to it. If you can remember to stay calm, keep that quiet smile inside, and have infinite patience, you can be slow to let anything get to you. Keep your mouth shut about everything before you analyze it. A disciplined tongue doesn't talk much, especially about negative things. It tries to be positive, pleasant, and encouraging. Once you stop and think about a situation for a few minutes, you can usually let it blow off your back and forget about it. The opposite of anger is self-control, good manners, and a kindly nature. People know you by your actions. Keep the negative stuff to yourself, deal with it, then let it go. A peaceful mind without anger is the key to mastering your life. Forgiveness is the most divine force on the planet, both for your peace of mind and for the good of the world. You're not fooling anyone when you show anger. Everybody knows you really hate yourself at that time and need some serious soul searching. Depression is anger turned inward, left to fester inside. The best approach is to either talk it out with a trusted person or get away from everybody for a while. My approach is the eraser approach. In one ear, quick analysis, say screw it, it isn't nothing but a thing, then it's gone. I deal with all the negatives in my life by making them disappear out of my mind. Somebody once told me that time heals everything. For some things, you need time to mourn, to give yourself some room for self-pity and grief. Then after a while of moping, you should have the sense to snap out of it and break back into your life. Being grumpy and angry doesn't get you anywhere because people just see you as an idiot and shut off, and it's hell to pay on your mind for all the space it takes up, and hell on your body with all that excess adrenaline you're releasing that poisons it. Angry people become what they're angry at. It's called projection. Usually you're angry at a personality trait that you have. Frustration is life. Unless you were born with a big silver spoon in your mouth, you can't avoid the hassles of earning a living, and even then, rich people get bored and almost never trust the people who supposedly fall in love with them because they think it's for their money. So bottom line, nobody's immune to hard times and frustration, but it shouldn't necessarily lead to anger. All anger is a state of mind. If you can learn to see life for the big picture and let all the trivial, everyday stuff just blow off your shoulders, you've got it made. But many people get caught up in their own little worlds and let little things skyrocket in their minds until they explode. The old cliche is learn to relax and meditate. Rest the mind and body. Live for peace of mind. There's a technique called progressive relaxation where you lay down and focus on each body part, making it relax as deeply as possible. Truly happy people with peace of mind don't get angry because they have the proper perspective about what really matters. You create your own anger within yourself, therefore you can change it with an act of will if you so desire. It's good to be a passionate person for what you believe in, but once you cross the line into zealousness, extremism, obsession, and anger, you're setting yourself up for a miserable life. Many anger-prone people live in a fantasy world of delusion. They're self-centered, egotistical, dictatorial, authoritative, absolutist jerks who see the world only from their point of view and proceed on with their goals without regard for anyone else until someone or something interferes. Then they get angry, and most of them, unless they're in a position of authority where they can blow up at will, just keep it in and let it fester, having all these fantasies about the person, like what a monster they are and how they'd like to dissect them piece by piece and finally give them a slow, painful death. They never blame themselves for anything that happens, it's always the other person even when they're blatantly wrong. The problem with most anger is the frustration-aggression hypothesis, where people get crapped on at work, but because they're subordinate, they can't do anything about it but let it fester inside, so they go home and take it out on the people they love the most because they're there as convenient scapegoat punching bags. This phenomena is also called the kicking the dog syndrome. When you let things get to you and get tense, it's written all over your face and somber mood. People won't like you and your boss won't promote you. Misery might love company, but normal people don't want to be around downers, so as long as you're a downer, don't expect to be a winner at work. Expressing anger might feel good for the moment in the short term, but it becomes a vicious cycle, and sooner or later, the angry person finds himself alone without any friends or allies at work. In fact, when you act like a jerk, people just don't turn off, they do things to quietly sabotage you to get you back for being a jerk and talk about what a jerk you are behind your back. That's no way to live. All anger is irrational, created in the mind of the person. If you let it, anger will destroy your mind and body, drain you, alienate people, and make you a jealous, miserable person. Every time you get angry, you release adrenaline, which wears the body out, and you put a strain your heart, which has to work extra hard to pump all that angry blood to your head. Just stay calm and deal with whatever comes in a rational, mature manner. Be assertive if you have to get your rights, but don't cross the line into aggression where you put the other person down and attack them personally. Just deal with situations over people. Consider just what's happening in one situation and try to resolve that problem. No matter what happens, the sun always rises the next day, and you have the choice to either take inspired action to create your life or do nothing and stagnate away in bitterness and anger. I've had major negative events happen to me, but I always knew regardless of these things, my life was still my choice on a daily level to either follow my true bliss or destroy myself by sitting around and moping. The biggest cause of all anger is that you feel ripped off, betrayed, abused, or that unreasonable demands are being made on you. That makes people the cause of your anger. Instead of jumping the gun and attributing all manner of negative qualities to the person that screwed you in some way, step back for a second and analyze the situation. It could be several things, maybe just an innocent oversight on their part, maybe they don't even realize that they wronged you, maybe they were having a bad day and did something inadvertently rude, maybe they have to screw you as part of their job to get what they want, maybe they're just low-level, insensitive, harmless jerks, or maybe they're truly poison people who purposely want to screw you for their own insidious satisfaction. The first few cases you can deal with by staying calm, letting it blow over, and giving the person a second chance. If certain people around you continue to make unreasonable demands on you, you have the right to be assertive and stand up for yourself by telling them straight out that they're being jerks. It's up to you how far you want to go to confront people. Whatever you do, always attack the behavior rationally and not the person. I rarely confront people because I have my own peace of mind and don't care that much about the jerks around me if they're being jerks. I just laugh cynically and leave. As for poison people, once you identify them, you have only two choices: to stay away as far as possible or think up a righteous case of vigilante justice. Sometimes it's the only way to teach a jerk a lesson. Anger therapists are quick to say turn the other cheek, forgive and forget, which is fine in most cases, but sometimes revenge is the only way to stop a jerk from screwing other people. Don't blame others for your anger. Analyze yourself, then strive to be a kinder, gentler person. Don't buy into all the psychobabble about how predisposition and upbringing determine anger traits. Anger is a now phenomena, created by you in the moment, so it's your choice if you want to change it. Don't blame anger on something inherent within yourself. It's very easy to live in the rut of anger. It takes work to change it. Find alternative ways to let off steam, like exercise, play piano, get a hobby, go dancing, talk, hit a brick wall with your head, etc. When you do something you really love to do, it frees you from your anger for a while. Then when you've expended yourself and it's all done, your perspective changes. You realize it wasn't such a big deal after all. Try to change your philosophy from one of competition to one of cooperation. Start smiling a bit more. Ultimately, anger will not solve your problems. When you feel yourself getting angry, think about how it's destroying your body. Think tolerance instead of animosity. Realize how foolish it is and how stupid you look being angry, since nobody likes an angry person, not even the one being angry. Carry yourself with respect and dignity. Don't be whiny. Define yourself so that people know where you stand and know that they can't run all over you. If you carry yourself well, the jerks'll know that they can't get one over on you, and if you're calm, people'll know that you're stable, meaning that you'll deal with adversity and disappointment in a rational way without being a jerk about it. When you come face to face with an angry person, disarm them by being calm and speaking quietly. Ask them why are they so uptight or what's wrong, with a tone of sympathy in your voice. They might calm down and open up. Don't be too serious about life. Lighten up, get a sense of humor. Anger at work. The human organism is generally moody and lives by emotion, but mature people don't take out their negative emotions on others. Unfortunately, many people do. This is the source of workplace hell. People get angry at others for two major reasons. That person is interfering with what they want to do. It could be innocent interference, not realizing they're bothering this other person. People are general assholes who are not straight shooters and may do irritating things on purpose to try to get on other people's nerves. In the clinical sense, this is bullying behavior. The issue is one of power, or more correctly, the abuse of power. People with power often take out their anger on subordinates, and the subordinates take it even though this is abuse and is subject to civil and even criminal laws in cases of violence. Subordinates or low-level workers get angry too, but they generally can't act on it directly, so they do the next best thing. Take it out on their peers and subordinates. Take it out on the company by sabotaging it. Doing poor quality work. Stealing from the company. Keep it all in until they explode in an act of violence. Get depressed, turn to booze, etc. to deal with it. Go home and take it out on the family. In any case, anger at work is bad. You're there to do a job. You should be civil about it. It not only hurts production but creates a horrible tension in the air. Try to resolve all personality conflicts as quickly as possible and get rid of angry people as quickly as you can. They're bad for the atmosphere of the workplace. Try to create a positive, relaxed, cooperative atmosphere at work. Don't be too strict. Be in the middle so that people have a safety valve to cool off throughout the day in the form of breaks, access to a bathroom, a lunchroom, a place to smoke, etc. Accept the fact that anger happens. If the people who get angry only do it every once in a while, they can be salvaged and educated to walk out and take a break when they feel hot and stressed. For chronically angry people, warn them formally, then the next few times they get angry is enough to fire them. Be straight and direct about anger. Don't pussyfoot with angry people. Tell them to learn to cool it and act mature or get out. Show both sides that you're empathetic, that you feel and understand their pain. Don't point fingers and blame, especially when someone is angry. Try not to add insult to anger by attacking the angry person personally, calling him a wacko. Tell him to cool it for a second, to compose himself, then criticize the behavior, not him personally. Say you just want to get to the bottom of that particular situation and not deal with the personal lives of the people involved. Diffuse anger quickly by getting both sides to air their beefs right there on the spot. Often, the act of releasing the frustration is enough to diffuse the issue for the moment, but go one step further and try to get them to compromise and agree to be civil with each other in the future. Find common ground between them. Tell them they're both mature people, family men or women, working for the same company who want the same things out of life, so they should try to get along with each other. This works for some but not for others. With co-workers who hate each other, either fire the worse one, or if the company is big enough, separate them, put them to work far away from each other. You can only go so far with some angry people. They can't be reformed. In these cases, either learn to live with them or get rid of them. You can help some people control their anger but not eliminate it. It's still in there but they don't let it out as much. Try to be fair at work. If somebody is angry, they may have a legitimate beef. Try to help them get justice so they can get over it and move on. If you don't at least try, you've got a wounded worker with a long-term grudge. The bottom line is to eliminate anger one way or another. Try to help angry people resolve their beefs or minimize the anger within themselves or fire them. Take or offer courses in anger management and stress reduction. Books about anger at work are at hashtag 650.13, hashtag 658.3045, hashtag 658.38 or HF5549 at the library. Violence at work/workplace violence. Going postal means you explode like a frustrated postal worker who goes to his workplace and shoots his coworkers. There's plenty of that going around, but workplace violence is more routine than that. The most dangerous jobs according to USDOJ.gov are cop, security guard, taxi driver, mental health worker, prison guard, grade school teachers, bartenders, gas station attendants, convenience store clerks, bus drivers. There is conflict at work. You might be able to foresee violence if a coworker starts bad-mouthing the boss and company all the time. If he brings a weapon to work. If he makes threats. Gets into arguments and fights. Depression, talk of suicide. Substance abuse. Aggressive, bullying behavior. Lets himself go, poor dress, messy hair, etc. Think about your workplace. What would you do if a gunman came in? Make an escape or hiding plan. What about valuables? Is there anything in the workplace that someone would commit a daylight robbery for? If there is, incorporate tighter security procedures. If you're in a cash business like restaurant, bar, food, entertainment, you're always at risk. Surveillance cameras help, but the critical moment is when you leave with the cash at the end of the day. Always send your decoy out first to get the car. He parks it by the door in drive while you run out and get in. If you're a big boss, get a steel door with a deadbolt for your office. Another threat is angry customers. Think twice before you rip off customers, give them poor merchandise or refuse to give refunds. Try hashtag 362.88 at the library. Revenge at work/sabotage. A person who broods on revenge only worsens his wounds. His injuries would heal if he would refrain. Francis Bacon. You have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But now I tell you, do not take revenge on someone who wrongs you. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, let him slap you on the left cheek too. When someone asks you for something, give it to him. When someone wants to borrow something, lend it to him. Matthew 5, 38-39, Luke 6, 29-30. I'm a man of peace, but as a messenger of information, it's my duty to report all relevant information. Revenge is defined as the act of doing hurt or harm to another in return for wrong or injury suffered. Thoughts of revenge come from anger at someone. Everyone has had thoughts of revenge at some point in time, and such actions are necessary according to political Machiavellian rule and according to some, to make it in the business world. Revenge is sweet to some, wrong to others. It's a kind of getting even, getting some dirty scumbag back for the wrong he or she did to you. It goes against the Christian edict of turning the other cheek, forgive and forget, but I personally feel that sometimes you have to stop scumbags, otherwise they will just keep going on unchecked. Revenge is a hot, interesting topic. Just check out all the TV shows, movies, tabloids, etc. that love to deal with it. The golden rule is living well is the best revenge. If it's just trivial stuff, why waste negative energy on it? If it's big stuff, my philosophy of life is that they must somehow be made to pay and be taught a lesson. I personally strive to get revenge if some jerk tries to put one over on me. I'm not religious, I have no qualms about it except getting caught and going to jail. If you go on after you've been taken advantage of undaunted, living a good life, your enemies and phony friends will get jealous when they see you're doing just great and they're still living loser lives. Talking it over will help. Time and patience can heal anything. It's all in the soul. Everybody gets used and abused in life. The winners keep their souls intact and keep going on. In the end, you can either get cynical and bitter, as I've seen happen to many people, or you can go on regardless and let it all slide off your shoulders. If you're serious about getting revenge, there are some ground rules to follow. Namely, don't tell anyone who is a big mouth in general or who you might have a falling out with at some point in time who could call the cops on you, even a spouse, and do not threaten the intended victim, either privately, publicly or over the phone, because it just points the finger of guilt on you, not to mention that threats alone are a criminal offense. Don't use your own phone, computer, or credit cards that leave a paper trail pointing to you. Pay cash for whatever you buy that you plan to use in your little scheme. Beware of fingerprints, shoe prints, tire prints, and DNA, which can identify you from something as insignificant as the saliva on the back of a lick stamp. Bide your time, wait quietly for the best opportunity. Don't leave any evidence and keep your mouth shut about everything. The revenge, in order to be successful, must screw the intended victim up, without getting you in any trouble, so you get a quiet sense of justice without having to brag about it all over the place. Many people use subtle, passive forms of revenge like being accident-prone, saying and doing things to irk the other like conveniently being late, making loud noises, pretending you didn't hear something, asking someone to repeat something, saying "huh" or "what," talking high-class phony, swearing on purpose, correcting somebody for something trivial, being sarcastic, etc. If you get arrested for revenge on property, it's generally a charge of criminal mischief. In the world of work, the insensitive boss often tries to suck blood out of his employees and belittles them because he thinks he owns them. In those cases, according to me, revenge is justified. What's fair is fair. If the boss and company treat you righteously, send it back their way, but if not, get what you can out of the deal and get back at them. For any boss or business owner out there, every employee can be pushed too far. If they do good work and you don't reward it by raising their pay, they will screw you one way or another. If you holler at them and make their lives miserable just to be an asshole, they will get you back. If you promise them things but don't deliver, you're setting yourself up for the fall. The most common form of revenge at work is theft or destroying company property. The following is a general list of some revenge techniques. Water in electrical components while on. If you work in retail, you will see that shoplifting is big, but employee theft is bigger in various forms. The easiest one is getting a friend to come on, charging them $2 for a VCR, putting it into a nice big shopping bag and stapling it up with a big receipt. A lot of employees hide the stuff by the back door or have their cars parked nearby. Beware of surveillance cameras though. Make up a phony supplier account and write checks to yourself. Try not to just destroy something. Get something that improves your life, like free food, pencils, phone calls, etc. Time theft is sleeping on the job, doing personal business, taking long lunch breaks, having fun, etc. If the boss is not around, the employees will steal time. Urine and feces may be able to be traced back to you genetically, so don't piss anywhere. Get extra keys for the store, then rob him. 2 furniture delivery guys for a furniture shop consistently stole furniture and resold it through newspaper ads. Steal, 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 only watch out for hidden cameras. Take it out with the trash, hide it and recover it later. If it's unsafe and they won't do anything about it, call the local media or suddenly break the machines. Wipe out computer hard drives or important files. You can get viruses at some hacking websites. An easy way to look busy is to talk on the phone to nobody or your wife while looking like you're talking business. Screw up so your boss looks bad. One scientist and a survey taker simply make up their own results without doing the studies or surveys. Always plead dumb when you screw up, especially if on purpose. If you do a job like graphic artist, get personal contracts on the side and do them at work during work time. Steal some of your boss's customers. Offer to do the job on the side for half the price. One sales guy on a salary faked his sales calls pretending he went out looking for new customers but never did. One janitor sat in his closet watching his portable TV a few hours a day. If your boss owes you money, tell him you can make it such that it will cost him so much in damage that he will wish he paid you. Do it without witnesses around and do a few little things like superglue the locks to his car door, office door, key his car, spill a quart of paint on his front door and keep telling him you want the money. One mail carrier hired for the Christmas simply threw all his mail in the garbage and claimed he delivered it. Do your own personal work at the computer. Make long-distance calls. Use their stamps. Send your packages via their delivery system. Steal a computer if you can. Pad your time clock if you can. Take long breaks. When asked to work too fast for comfort and safety, slow down as a unit. Break something. Have a short circuit. Ignore customers. Give poor customer service, especially on the phone. Do your big thefts right after inventory. Good thieves are nice to the boss, always clean, orderly and on time such that they're never suspected. If you work with at least one other flunky, there will always be doubt in their minds as to who did it, that is if they even know. One oil delivery guy who didn't feel like working some emergency calls just told them he couldn't find the place. Take what you can on expense accounts. One guy at a building supplies store looked for working class guys like himself. Then when he put the stuff on the truck for them, he asked them if they need more plywood, etc., at 50% of the regular price. Put important papers in the wrong order. Walk off at a critical time when it's too late to find a replacement so the current big order gets screwed up. The following is a general list of some revenge techniques. Cut clothes. Bleach on everything. Take pet and give it away. Take his credit cards and spend, spend, spend. Call the cops from a payphone and tell them he's a dope dealer. Take his birth certificate and passport and throw them out of the car in a ghetto area. Water in electrical components while on. Find out if there are free ads in your community in the local buy and sell newspaper as well as on a local freenet. Advertise a flea market Saturday at 6 o'clock in the morning at Target's address and phone number. Do an ad like he's selling his car or house real cheap so he gets flooded with calls. Put a kinky ad in the personal section in your Target's home with his phone number. Do this on the internet giving out his personal phone number and address. In public bathrooms, wrote out solicitations for gay sex to his number. Throw paint remover on his car. Send him a letter saying he won $200 of groceries at the local supermarket and that he must present the letter at the customer service desk. He goes and gets embarrassed. Hide dead fish in his office, car, house, etc. Buy some stupid bumper stickers and put them on his bumper. If he has a swimming pool, throw some gas, oil, or paint into it. If your target is taking a trip on a plane, slip a knife or some dope into his luggage, especially across borders. Make up a set of hijacking plans, leave them in airport bathroom with target's phone number in code backwards. If angry with a bank, shove something in the ATM card intake like a thin piece of cheese but wear a disguise like sunglasses and baseball hat because most have cameras. Use additives to target's gas tank, sugar, oil tank at house, lawnmower, acid on his lawn, stuff in his food, not enough to change its taste, like X-Lax in orange juice or in a cake mix. Put neat hair remover in bottle of shampoo, replace eye or nose drops with vinegar, etc. Poison letters are negative letters you send to the target's employers and family to expose him for the louse he is, or you send silly letters to companies and people pretending you are the target such that they respond back and complicate his life. Use contact cement in his toilet, kitchen sink or bathtub, which means the floor will have to be uprooted in order to repair the pipe. Cut the target's cable TV and phone wires outside his house. Buy several books at a flea market, tape notes in them saying, "This book belongs to Flunky Joe, if you find it, call me at 555-5555 and I will give you $20 cash on its return." Lay them on benches downtown. Dump some gooey food in target's clothes dryer. Turn it on. Order a tuxedo, wedding dress rental, flowers, cake, etc. for wedding in target's name. Make up a fictitious invitation to a fake wedding or a free supper for the Elks Lodge such that the target gets dressed up and goes. Make up a fake coupon for a free dinner complete with drinks at JoJo's restaurant, send it to the target. Put crazy glue in target's car, house, and apartment locks. Place an ad in target's name with house for rent very cheap. If your target is getting married, at the very least, drop a stink bomb at the church or reception. Call real estate agent posing as target, say you want to sell your house. Invite him over. Fill out change of address form for target at post office. Put tacks or nail up to the tires in target's car so he gets a flat when he pulls out. Put bleach, food coloring or dye in target's washing machine. Leave the lid up so he can't smell it when he goes to wash clothes. Send embarrassing postcards from hooker girlfriend or buddy in jail for rape to target at his work. If you have two enemies, Send one a poison letter with the name and address of the other enemy so that they get all screwed up. File a phony tax return using his name and social security number. Call the IRS whistleblower line or send a letter telling them your target is cheating on his taxes. Pretend you're the target. Call the IRS with his full name and SSN, tell them you cheated on your taxes, went to church and now feel guilty. Set up a meeting with the audit department. Get your target's license plate number, call the cops or send a letter saying you saw him with a gun in the car or telling them he's carrying drugs to sell. Report target for child abuse or child sexual abuse. Glue and paint by the gallon. Spray paint on the car. Drain money in joint accounts. If wife is awarded proceeds from the sale of a house or car, sell it for $1 to spite her. If you're brutal, when you sign a lease for home rental, put it in your name only, then you can kick her out anytime. If you're really brutal, live common law, keeping everything in your name. Urine and feces may be able to be traced back to you genetically, so don't piss in his aquarium. Get extra keys for the house, then rob him while he's at work. One guy urinated in the office coffee pot. One guy neutered his girl's dog that she had wanted to breed. Have a garage sale and sell all his stuff cheap. Call the cops and say he's got dope in his place. One guy got back at his girl by giving her a fake diamond ring complete with a fake proposal, and after she told everybody, he broke it off. Put sugar in someone's gas tank. Collect ants and roaches and put them in your enemy's place. Poison someone's pet with antifreeze. It tastes sweet. They will drink it. Hide a dead animal or dead fish in someone's ceiling tiles or somewhere to smell the place up. Slash someone's tires or just let the air out. Key someone's car. Steal his license plate so he has to apply for new ones. Itching powder in the underwear works wonders. Spill a cup of water into the top openings of their computer monitor. Call a foreign recorded number like the weather number in England and leave his phone off the hook while the bill keeps increasing. Call the IRS on him. Give a cake with laxatives in it. Rig the salt shaker so that the top comes off when shaken. One guy deleted all his company's records from the computer. Some people write poison letters about someone and send them to teachers, bosses, co-workers, etc. Humor and cruel jokes are often disguised pot shots. When an enemy is down and out, rub your fortune in his face and don't help him. Send naked pictures of her via email or snail mail to her family. One guy got his revenge at the library by tearing pages out of books. If you want books on revenge, you might find a few by typing the word revenge into your library's computer. I found a few at hashtag 152.47. Get the following free catalogs, which each have at least a dozen books on revenge techniques ranging from high-tech electronic revenge to revenge in the workplace. Retribution.net. RevengeLady.com. RevengeUnlimited.com. Anger, violence at work websites. OSHA.gov. OSHA.gov/publication/OSHA2209.pdf, the OSHA Handbook for Small Businesses, 800-321 OSHA. Angry.org. CrisisPrevention.com. Namazes.org, National Anger Management Association. OSHA.gov/sltc/workplaceviolence/index.html, Workplace Violence. aggressionsmanagement.com. sproutingjoy.org/anger.html. stopworkplaceviolence.ca. workplaceviolence911.com. workplace-violence-hq.com. Chapter 2. A Tough Workplace Guide. Deal with the arrogant jerks. In many working situations, you might find a few guys or dames who think they're it. They may be a boss or a co-worker, they may be angry, secretly competing with everybody, totally ambitious or otherwise getting out their deep-rooted frustrations on anybody who's feeble enough to take it. A boss oversees you to guide your work and that's it. If he makes it personal, hollers at you, demeans you in front of others, you may have a valid case of harassment against him. Other than legal channels, the way to deal with negative people is don't take their crap. Don't be afraid of them. If you are, don't show your fear. Face it head on. You don't have to fight bull with bull, but just make it perfectly clear that you see through the asshole and you won't take any of his crap. That will usually shut them up. Most bullies are jerks. Look them in the eye, don't back off. Even if you fight and lose, as long as you fight hard, you will prove that you had the guts to fight and he will never bother you again. If it comes to blows, don't pull your punches. Fight with all the fury you have. Think like you're teaching this jerk a lesson. I'm not talking just generic bullies here, I'm also talking about corporate bullies in the boardroom. Don't be intimidated by them. They may try to act like they're in with the in-crowd know-it-alls while you're a greenhorn nobody. Don't be intimidated. Guts and backbone mean everything in defining a person's character. Anyone who's a bully or angry all the time has serious life problems, that's a fact. You could disarm them by talking gently and asking them if they'd like to talk to you about what's going on in their lives. You might make a friend out of the deal, but don't bet on it. Many assholes are bent on self-destruction and nobody can help them. Some have such high superiority complexes that they're so self-centered that they can't put themselves in someone else's position, which means they can't empathize with them, so they're stuck in that bubble that is them and will never really be able to relate to anyone else unless they get a good dose of humble pie. Beyond facing a jerk head on, if you're around a truly poison person all day long and he's really getting to you, like your boss, bottom line, a job is a job is a job. Have confidence in yourself. Look for another job on the side, then quit. It isn't worth it. I remember working some assembly line job in a bakery once. One guy was a real big mouth. He liked to embarrass people by saying stupid, sexual things and stuff like that. It was about 11 o'clock in the morning, I had enough, I took my apron off, walked out and never went back. successstrategies.com/news-articles-media/articles-macho-test-at-work.php. Tough situations. Any fool can start arguments, the honorable thing is to stay out of them. Proverbs 20:3. Don't make friends with people who have hot, violent tempers. Proverbs 22:24. I presume you had a religious upbringing like me that gave you some sense of right and wrong, but I believe the sense of right and wrong within is something you're born with, inherent to the human condition. Young people often do bad things and break the law, but it's not because they're ignorant of what is right and what is wrong. They know the difference, but they just choose to act in the latter way for a variety of reasons. Because of my belief in a straight line between good and evil, tough situations should be easy because everything comes down to the right thing, what is the morally ethical thing to do in any situation. There is rarely a bona fide gray area. One person is being the asshole, instigator, or clearly in the wrong. Beyond morality, it's just overall demeanor and attitude. You're asking the question, what core values do these people in this situation each have? People in general are either kind, unassuming and nice and try not to cause problems, or dissatisfied, angry, frustrated misfits, and it don't take a rocket scientist to know that if there's a problem between a meek secretary and the boisterous delivery guy who likes to act cocky as part of his persona, it's more than likely the dude that's doing something in the wrong, even though you should hear both sides out and take it from there. Trust your intuition over logic, but be middle of the road. If you're angry, it seems right to throw the book at someone, but it's best to cool off, think it through and give people punishments, but not overly harsh the first 2 times. After the 3rd time, sure, they struck out, do what you want, terminate them, but I believe in giving most people at least 2 chances. I'm simply of the firm belief that one person is clearly in the wrong in most work and business situations. Try to get to the heart of the matter, the objective truth, and take appropriate action from there. In any situation, simply ask, who is being immoral, unkind, or rude here? Sometimes the right decision morally is unpopular because it will disrupt the lives of more people than if you just took the easy way out, but a wise business person takes the utilitarian approach, Exercises situational morality. Sometimes, do what is the greatest good for the greatest number without regard for objective reality. In essence, don't be an absolutist. Live by the golden mean. People in the wrong are not necessarily absolutely evil unless they demonstrate it over 3 situations or so. You have to give people a few chances before you determine they have evil inside of them and you don't want them around. Everybody knows abortion is morally wrong, but if you take the hard-line approach and ban it, it won't stop it. People will just move underground to get their abortions done. That's why you have to play it cool. Don't be a hard ass and don't be a prude. Play it midway between absolute morality and popularity. Laws are made to be broken because they're just guiding principles. What really matters is the spirit of the situation, so in some cases the law will be wrong. You have to do the intuitive right thing and bypass the law if you think the letter of it is violating the spirit of it. Sometimes you're in a tough situation, caught between 2 people who both seem right or at least not wrong. I say go back to intuition. Loyalty counts for some, but you have to do the right thing too. Sleep on it, mull it over in your brain. Sometimes this process of incubation will spit out the correct answer in a flash of insight. It has happened to me more than once. By sleeping on problems and thinking about them over several days, the right answer has come to me in a quick moment from the subconscious mind when I wasn't even consciously thinking about it. In some situations, you, as the boss, have to do the right thing, and that means truth over loyalty or the popular option. If you're convinced that somebody is innocent or right while everybody else thinks he's guilty or wrong, if you cave to popular pressure, it shows you can be bought. You have no strong backbone. Write out your unpopular decision if you believe in it and stick to it. In essence, you have 4 extremes of conflict resolution. Absolute morality. Utilitarianism. Situational morality. What decision will benefit the most people? The popular option. What do your cohorts and employees want you to do? The ecological option. What's best for the future of the world? There is no right or wrong approach. Simply think each of these 3 options through with every tough situation you come across and then decide what's best from your analysis and intuition. Never forget forgiveness, compassion, and mercy. In some situations that escalate into ugliness, it's sometimes better to absolve everybody and hope they all learn from it enough to try to avoid such situations in the future. The bottom line is always peace in the workplace. Tough situations checklist. Overall, there are some situations at work that threaten to wreak more havoc than others. Go through the following list and perhaps think these scenarios through to see how you would deal with them should the situation present itself. You have to discipline a worker who is also a buddy. Fear of layoffs. The boss is told to lay off several people. It's a dilemma for him who to pick. A top worker is dissatisfied and threatens to leave. Booze and drug use that's affecting work performance. Theft in the workplace, either outright physical theft or white-collar crime. The clerk/receptionist always leaves the books in a mess that you have to fix. You suspect she is doing this as a cover for stealing money from the daily cash received. You have a good worker but somebody tells you he was convicted for murder or some other heinous crime 20 years ago. Lies on the application form. Malicious gossip and rumor in the workplace. You work your ass off and the boss takes credit for your hard work. The boss blames you or the workers for his incompetencies and mistakes. You think your boss is about to make a major wrong decision. The boss is unjustly picking on you or someone else. You've got a middle management boss and an upper boss and both seem to think you're theirs full time. You see illegal or unethical conduct or are asked to participate in illegal conduct. Nobody seems to listen to you on a point you believe in. In a public company, you have a tough situation, cater to the shareholders or your workers. An angry customer who is justified. An angry customer who is just being an asshole. Just how right is the customer? How far do you bend for him? You get bad press. What do? You screw up. How do you handle it? You lie and are caught in it. Somebody else lies and are caught in it. You are promoted over coworkers and now have to lead them. You have work commitments and family commitments and are always struggling between the two. Prejudice by either a boss or coworker. The boss gives you an impossible workload. The boss takes out his frustrations on his workers. Harassment, sexual harassment. There is a crisis. The team has lost morale. The main machine of production breaks down. Business is bad. Stress in the workplace. One worker is really stressed out. One worker is having personal problems that affect his work performance. A good worker has been promoted as high as he can go, but it still doesn't seem enough to satisfy his potential. You have to choose between promoting only one of two good workers. Obvious brown nosers sucking up blatantly. Competition among a few workers to outdo one another. This can be good if it enhances production, but often results in destructive behaviors. A loner worker. A high-strung worker. A loudmouth. Inter-office adulterous affair. Incompetent employee. A good worker but nonconformist. Doesn't think the rules apply to him. An angry malcontent or simply negative worker. A poor worker in general. You don't like a coworker and / or they don't like you. The workplace is tense for one reason or another. You want to bring an outsider in for a top position over one of your own flock. One of the workers is terminally ill or disabled or is caring for a terminally ill or disabled person. There is a death of a workplace employee. A great worker starts to lose motivation. An individual's absenteeism. Regularly taking too long breaks. Average performance rather than great motivated work. A poor worker thinks he or she is great. Employee bitter at not being promoted. You don't have the money to give bonuses and raises to great workers. The people don't like one particular boss or don't like the entire management staff. There is hostility among some coworkers or among different cliques, groups, of coworkers. Major changes like new ownership, new factory, new management, etc. There is a bitter disagreement on a controversial policy issue. Try hashtag 658.40 or HF5387 for books about work and business dilemmas, business ethics, and tough situations. Tough situations, how to avoid them. Do unto others as you would want them to do to you. The golden rule. The simplest rule about life is you get back the vibes you put out, positive begets positive, negative begets negative. When you put out a positive vibe in response to a conflict, you get a positive response back. De-escalate serious things with humor. Stay calm. In the middle of an argument, slow down, take a break, leave, get a drink, wash your face, walk around the block, anything to diffuse the tension. If you have to fight, do it fairly in a rational manner. Be less critical and more considerate. Think about what you're gonna say before you say it. The way to diffuse conflicts is to all of a sudden get gentle instead of angry and either forget about it or talk it through quietly with calm and logic. Never criticize, blame, complain, control or get defensive. Use compliments instead and you will marvel at how much a little bit of love brings back to you. Saying hurtful things are usually a subconscious way to get back at your lover for past injury. The way to stop anyone cold is to detach from your ego, act like you don't give a damn about holding your own, getting the better of this person or letting them get the better of you. Simply smile to yourself, realize it's meaningless in the grand scheme of life and stop the fight right there. They will see that you're ignoring them and get the message quick enough that you're not really interested in the fight and you're going on with your happy life. Hold your tongue, be patient, let them ventilate, then, because you're so calm, they will see what idiots they're being. Virtually all fights come from the same thing, you're not getting enough love and praise from the world. The cardinal rule of all fights is not to go past the point of no return. The bottom line is that you don't have to fight, just live for peace like Jesus did. Isn't nothing but a stupid, little thing in the grand scheme of things? Can you be that free to just keep going with a smile on your face and let everything roll off your back? The best way to counter an angry person is to do something for him or her. When someone gets crabby, that's the time for you to put on the super soft pads and bomb with love. It's all about ventilation, letting the other guy get the hurt off his or her chest. Deal with issues directly and always try to be light and humorous about a serious scuffle. Never get sarcastic. Think before you open your mouth. Be civil in voice intensity, don't shout. Have the guts to apologize and or call a truce. There are many ways to call a truce, all of them about swallowing your ego and humbling yourself. The one thing I've found about life is that tone of voice is everything. If you talk gently, regardless of what you say, you diffuse almost every situation. Chapter 3. Dealing with people at work. Office politics info. Office politics span the spectrum from cutthroat Machiavellian tactics to trivial brown-nosing to get on the boss's side and maybe become the boss's pet. The bottom line is that we're all creatures of emotion and ego, so if you want to make it in the office, it's all about playing up to people, charming them, buttering them up, seducing them with smiles, praise, and compliments. Make your boss and your co-workers like you and you will go places. Don't make them like you just because you look sexy, make them like you because you're an upbeat, enthusiastic, ready-to-go team player who always willing to do extra to help out. The art of diplomacy is all about compromise. Don't be a hard head about anything. You can bend with anything, after all, it's just work, nothing but a thing. You can manipulate people a lot more by being nice rather than being a jerk. Analyze everyone in your office. Identify the weasels and the skunks, egomaniacs, liars, crooks, overly ambitious, etc., and stay away as much possible. If the boss is a jerk, show your dignity by doing your job with quiet humility. The way you carry yourself and the way you keep your workspace tells other people whether you're leadership material. Always dress for success, nothing casual. Keep your work area clean and plain. Get rid of the cute teddy bears, the photographs, the corny inspirational messages, the bowl of candy, etc. This is business, not a warm, homey feeling. If you want to make it big, you have to become the only logical choice for the job. If you want to be a master suckhole, do your research to find the people in the company who have the power and the ability to promote you, then approach them with tact. Try to make friends by being your humble, respectful self and smiling at them. You can cozy up to the boss by either offering good ideas or letting him feel like he's your mentor, so always act like you're serious about learning from him. Being a good, all-around, balanced conversationalist always helps out in every situation. There's an art to good talking. It's all about a smooth, low-key flow. There's a balance to everything. Don't abuse or overuse your friendship with superiors. They may resent you for it. If the timing is off about doing something, trust your instincts, wait for a better day. If you're gonna screw your fellow employees to get ahead, just remember, you're still stuck with them whether you're a boss or not, and the most powerful hate vibes are when a group turns on one of its own and gives him either the silent treatment or the dirty look, ice-cold treatment. Show loyalty to everyone because you never know when they will be in a different position or you will need their help. Try to fit into the workplace culture. If you're a loner genius and your contemporaries are just plebeians, still socialize with them, help them, and go out for a drink with them after work sometimes. Anybody who's not only a good worker but loves their job tries to be a master at it. They don't waste time. They're there for work, not all the little social things people do at work. While at work, be serious about it. Balance your work and your life. If somebody likes you at work and sees themselves as your mentor, accept the role, learn from them, and they might give you the big promotion. New people and new situations are always stressful. Keep your mouth shut, let everybody else talk. You will learn soon enough. careerjournal.com/mix/office life. crazycolor.com/os, office survival. buckleyzarch.com/office_politics.htm. Deal with a rude worker. If you don't want to get in someone's face, simply send an anonymous letter telling them about their problem and that you're just a concerned friend who wants to help out. Get rid of a partner/manager. Conflicts start among longtime friends and business partners for a lot of reasons, usually money, differences of opinion as to whether someone is pulling their weight, incompetence, substance abuse, theft, misappropriation of funds, ego and jealousy, etc. The bottom line is that this individual has got to go. First off, in your company charter right from the beginning, list reasons why anyone can be terminated, reasons such as substance abuse, discrimination, incompetence, sexual harassment, laziness, theft, moral turpitude, etc. Secondly, if there's no way to keep a top executive or even a founder without going crazy, you have to offer him a big bone to get him out, hopefully voluntarily without going through company and legal procedure, which is similar in some ways to firing any employee although different. Some common ways to get undesirable top guns out is to offer him a new or currently existing separate branch of the company which he takes on as his own business. A big paycheck. Setting up another division in another state or country which you give to him. Have him investigated to hopefully find dirt on him. Dissolve the company, then start it again on your own. Go through some manner of arbitration or mediation. Hash it out in a legal court of law. Be civil, amicable, and reasonable. Explain that he no longer fits the vision of the company. He should take the money and enjoy his life for a while. Make it sound appealing for him to chuck it all and live easy. Offer him a big enough bone. Tell him the board or the other managers will vote against him if he pushes it. Tell him it will be simpler if he takes the cash settlement and leaves quietly. Offer him almost anything to avoid a legal battle in court. Steve Jobs, co-founder of Apple, was fired by his own company. The two original founders of Cisco, the guy and the girl whose names I don't know, were also fired. Chapter 4. The mental strain of work. Mental, emotional, personal problems. The law is quite clear regarding the personal lives of workers. If it's not interfering with the job, mind your own business to protect yourself from a legal point of view. Behaviors that seem odd or eccentric are better left alone unless they interfere with production. If the behaviors are disruptive, you can offer assistance through the Employee Assistance Program if you have one. Offer to help the employee by talking it out or put him on probation and let the chips fall where they may. The Social Security Administration, the Department of Veterans Affairs and the EEOC all recognize some mental/emotional illnesses as disabilities, so as an employer, that's bad for you because you just can't kick them out. You have to come up with some type of reasonable accommodation for them and sometimes even retire them with disability benefits. If the employee insists he is not crazy or mentally ill, then he is accountable for his behavior and you can put him on probation for acting like a nut. Most mentally/emotionally ill people are not crazy like crazies in movies, they're usually moody, angry, frustrated, miserable, stressed out people. In my opinion, if you can't control your inner states and be at least neutral with people, you've got a bad attitude, and I don't want any of these people in my workplace. I would go through the disciplinary process to either get rid of them or get them to shape up. Post-traumatic bitterness syndrome. Post-traumatic bitterness syndrome is a situation when someone at work or in some other situation gets very angry but they can't do anything about it lest they get fired or arrested, so they internalize it, seethe quietly, imagining doing things like killing the boss or vandalizing his car while they are doing minor things to get back at their employers, like stealing small things, resting on the job, doing things other than work, etc. Psychology, legal aspects, and the daily grind of work. There are all kinds of books about work at number 331 or HF 5381 at the library. Personally, I think they go a little too far trying to analyze work and bring in what they call the scientific method. It's just people working. Human wisdom or nature does not change. A ninja warrior attitude in life and work. Subvert anything of value to the enemy. Accept the aid of enemies of your enemy. Treat your allies well. Give up all old loyalties and traditions in pursuit of what you do. Destroy your enemy invisibly anywhere you can without a direct confrontation. Be secretive and quiet. Don't blab about what you do. Wear dark clothes. Blend in. Have a principle of honor. Use evil against evil people only. Think about what you will do. Plan it out. Mediate to see yourself and the world clearly. Train to be in good physical shape. Culture the ability to relax to stay strong as opposed to allowing stress defeat you. Be patient with what you want. Bide your time. Strike when the opportunity is right. Study others. Try to figure out their motivations. Be strong, wise, brave, and silent. Gather knowledge and plan in advance. When in doubt, don't act. Wait for the right time. If your enemy gets you, act passive. Wait for a time to exit or escape. Don't be careless and leave things around that might implicate you. Work satisfaction/job satisfaction. There are really not too many noble reasons why people like work except for the few artists out there. Most like their jobs if they have friends there and have fun or enjoy each other's company in peace. It's all about the people you work with. After that are the idealistic things like you're helping people or making an impact. Next comes a boss who appreciates them. After that, it's all about how they're treated. In the old days of work efficiency vs. human relations studies, they found workers wanted very simple things that seemed to make a lot of difference for them. They wanted a window in the workplace that they could see out of. They didn't want to have to ask permission to go to the bathroom. They want to be left alone if they're doing the job right. They don't want the boss hovering over them, checking them out all the time. They want to be told in advance about working overtime. They obviously want a relaxed, stress-free, friendly workplace. They don't like arrogant bosses who belittle them in front of others. If you give people the simple things like meaningful work and respect, most will like their jobs. Books about job satisfaction are at #650.14 or HF50 to HF549.5 at the library. CareerJournal.com, some articles. Mental health and work websites. Some large companies and organizations cover mental health services in their medical insurance coverage, and it's supposed to be confidential, meaning your boss does not have access to your mental health records. Nevertheless, a lot of people are afraid to ask their employer's mental health services. There is also the legal issue of an employer approaching a worker and inquiring about his mental state of mind. Don't intrude unless they're really acting messed up. allmentalhealth.samhsa.gov/business_execs.html, businesses materials for a mental health friendly workplace. mentalhealthamerica.net/go/information/get-info/workplace. mentalhealthpromotion.net. mentalhealthworks.ca, workplace mental health training. mentalhelp.net. mindfulemployer.net. workplaceblues.com. workplacementalhealth.org. Chapter 5. A Hate My Job Guide. If you hate your job. If you really hate your job, first ask yourself why. Write down the reason or reasons. Once you figure out exactly why, do what you must to better your situation. Either quit and get another job, solve the problem with coworkers or whatever it is out there, or learn to live with it in your mind. People generally hate work for these reasons. Addict. Problems unrelated to work. Mental illness. Anger at life. Hate people. Relationship problems at work. Intense competition at work. Boredom. People expect too much from work. Boss is too hard. Problems rarely get solved, so people whine and morale is low. Everything's a mess. Assholes at work. Too much in your basket. Baggage of other people. Stress. People fight, tease, and harass. Some jobs really are awful and some employers really are as evil. You can always quit, but if you stay, you must accept the fact that there are some things you have no control over. You have to play by their rules, but no matter what, they don't control your mind. You do. If you feel like you're worth more than you're getting paid, look around at the job market first before you ask for a raise, because if you ask and the boss refuses, you will have lost face. It will be difficult to keep working there. The boss will peg you as a malcontent and try to get rid of you too. Get more training and education to move up or out. If your boring job pays well, be thankful for what you got. Try to make friends with everybody at work, even the coworkers you hate. Do this by initiating conversation with them. There are laws about sexual harassment, but in some places like Quebec there are general harassment workplace laws. Everybody has the right to work in a workplace without being harassed. If your boss is bad, things probably will not improve. Incompetence is tolerable because he or she will eventually get fired, but if your boss is evil, you either 1. Take it and work. 2. Look for a new job. 3. Report him to higher authorities. There's almost no way to win unless you find a better job. Keep a record of all abuses and try to team up with others to get rid of him, or file a civil lawsuit for abuse and harassment that caused you stress and ruined your health. If your boss overworks you and denies you breaks or doesn't pay you all your hours, team up with other workers, see a lawyer about a class action lawsuit. 20somethingfinance.com/I-hate-my-job. Job critic websites. In the labor/work category of akpress.org, there are plenty of work critic books. mybosslead.com, have you ever felt your job description was misleading? Write a job review. jobchmob.com, funny emails about working. anticareer.com. bullshitjob.com. disgruntled.com. iquit.org, quitting. iquit.org/quityourjobblog.html. ishouldbeworking.com. jobatter.com. kissmyfrekhelidasgoodbye.com. myboss.com. myjobsucks.com. oddtod.com, laid off slacker. theidler.com, anti-work. workingfortheman.com. jobjabber.net, vent about your boss or employer. Completely anonymous. workingfortheman.com.